Why would Republicans do this?
What's up, guys? It's your boy, Benny. What happens when the commander-in-chief, the guy who could send American soldiers off to war, doesn't know where the soldiers are fighting? That is exactly what Joe Biden said today at the White House when he declared that Vladimir Putin is losing the war in Iraq. Well, that's a new one. Are we fighting a war against Vladimir Putin in Iraq? I would love to know more about that. Joe Biden said this as he is standing out in front of reporters saying that they're going to defeat him. They're going to defeat old Vlad in Iraq.
It's hard to tell, but he's clearly losing the war in Iraq. He's losing the war at home. And he has become a bit of a pariah around the world. It's not just NATO. It's not just the European Union. It's Japan.
Wait a second. So losing the war in Iraq, like Joe Biden is losing his mind. That's what everyone is saying here. Joe Biden has lost his mind. We're actually going to talk through what the stages of dementia are for people who are suffering from dementia and some of the weird marks on Joe Biden's face here in just a second. But let's go ahead and check in on our press corps, because it's a little interesting to see how the press clean up and mop up for Joe Biden in these circumstances, okay? So this guy's name's Alex Thompson. He's a reporter for Axios. He actually reported that Putin is losing the war in Iraq, according to Joe Biden. But the pool reporter, the person who's supposed to write down all the president's words, okay? The pool reporter is the reporter who travels with Joe Biden, and their sole job is to write down everything that Joe Biden says, okay? Omitted the fact that Joe Biden said that Putin is losing the war in Iraq. Bloomberg reporter omits the part of the quote where Biden said he's losing the war in Iraq. I know he is, Biden told reporters, the White House Wednesday. This is the Bloomberg reporter, hack and apparatchik here reporting. Again, we're going to get to these funny little marks on Joe Biden's face here in just a second. According to Nancy Cook of Bloomberg News, both last night and at the fundraiser, then again this morning at the White House, President Biden referred to Ukraine as Iraq and said, "My new best friend, the Prime Minister of China," before correcting himself to say the Prime Minister of India. Oh, okay. So why are the pool reporters omitting this stuff? They're cleaning up. They're mopping up for Joe Biden. Because Joe Biden is saying stuff like this on the record. Joe Biden was asked about his son and going to his best friend, the Prime Minister of China. This morning, it didn't go great. Joe Biden just started screaming, "No!"
President, how involved were you in your son's Chinese shakedown text message? Were you sitting there? Were you involved?
No, I wasn't, and I don't know.
Were you?
No.
No! Ah! Ah, yes, ladies and gentlemen. Joe Biden's new best friend, the Prime Minister of India. Got it. Correcting himself. Well, what happened when Joe Biden was meeting with the Prime Minister of India? Well, Joe Biden just screamed and shouted his crimes, saying that he sold state secrets.
Just thanking, anyway, I started off without you. And I sold a lot of state secrets and a lot of very important things that we shared.
Oh, okay. Got it. Well, what are the signs of dementia here? All right. Joe Biden selling state secrets, literally blurting out that he is committing crimes. The same crimes that he's trying to put Donald Trump in jail for. Very interesting, that. Saying that Putin's fighting a war in Iraq, so on and so forth. Screaming, "No!" What stage is Biden in? 7 stages of dementia. Stage 1, no cognitive impairment. Stage 2, very mild cognitive decline. Stage 3, mild cognitive decline. Moderate cognitive decline. 5, moderately severe cognitive decline. Severe cognitive decline. Very severe. I would say 5 or 6. Moderate to severe cognitive decline. This is why people like Joe Biden scream at the top of their lungs. Joe Biden, of course, possibly the most nefarious and evil wench in America, because she is allowing this to happen to her husband, which is, of course, obviously elder abuse. She knows that Joe Biden is going through this right now. It'll eventually catch up to all of us. No shame in it. But you shouldn't force this person who's clearly going through these problems to be president of the United States, the most difficult job on earth. When you ask Joe Biden if Joe should take a cognitive test, here's what she says.
One more question on that, on the polls, because there have been some recent polls that show that quite a few Americans have some questions about the president's current mental fitness. As somebody who spends, I can see you shaking your head.
Yes.
So what's your response to that?
I think that's ridiculous.
Oh, okay. You think that's ridiculous. You think it's ridiculous. All right. Well, the thing that I think is ridiculous is the marks on Joe Biden's face. Look at these. Look at this. You might have noticed this if you were eagle-eyed in these clips. You have a Dr. Jekyll situation here, right? Where, like, you legitimately need to pump this guy full of so many drugs. He is unrecognizable in so many of these instances. What could this be? Well, it could be a CPAP machine. Could be a ball gag. We're not sure, right? I sent these photos to medical professionals that I know. You can see the clear marks on Biden's face. By the way, like, those marks will go away in like 2 minutes. He was sleeping. This was sent at 12:20. He was clearly sleeping till like 10 a.m. in the morning. The machine had just been ripped off his face. They just rolled him out to the helicopter. Or the ball gag. Whatever. The gimp suit that George Soros and Klaus Schwab makes him wear. CPAP machine helps you breathe. If you have sleep apnea, that can lead to major problems if you have heart, coronary issues. We know that Joe Biden has both of those things. CPAP machine looks kind of like this. This is what they strap on to old Joe while he's sleeping. One of these. And that's what leads to maybe that strap. Or maybe it's a different kind of strap on. Who knows? Who knows? Which Joe Biden are we going to get today? Which Joe Biden are we going to get? We know that Joe Biden gets pumped into something. They give him something.
We fight inflation. You can't be pro-insurrection and pro-cop.
Who's that guy?
Bringing down gas prices is a big part of the job. You can't be pro-insurrection and pro-democracy.
What the hell? What's wrong with his eyes?
You can't be pro-insurrection and pro-American. And here's the good news.
Let's go. Wait.
Gas prices have dropped every day
this is like summer. A nice old man.
That's more than 40 days in a row.
Calm old
Donald
man.
Trump lacked the courage to act.
What the hell's wrong with his voice?
40,000 gas stations.
He's wearing the same outfit, but it's like two different people.
$3.99 or less. The brave women and men in blue all across this nation should never forget that.
Calm. Creeping me out. Creeping me out. Who the hell is this guy? Who's that guy? Who the hell is this? I don't know, man. I know that it's really, really, really painful to watch. I mean, it's really tough to actually like see the results of what they're doing to the guy. I ain't no fan of Joe Biden. I'm a fan of my country. I don't like my country being represented by this.
Theory, 3/4 of U.S. industries grew more consecrated. I'm thinking I didn't go to Mass. They were moving to diminish competition.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Ladies and gentlemen, Joe Biden falls asleep at public events. He actually does this regularly. Joe Biden can't speak. Joe Biden can't remember what countries are at war with what other countries. Joe Biden's wife screams at the top of her lungs when you ask about a cognitive test. Joe Biden's clearly pumped full of drugs. You can see the marks of the mask on his face. And Joe Biden screams, "No!" when you ask him about the scandals that he is currently embroiled in. I will say one thing. I ain't someone to try and help out Joe Biden at all or give any types of kind explanations to Joe Biden. But he's not the only quote-unquote president who messed this up. George W. Bush, in the greatest Freudian slip in history, said, "The decisions of one man to launch a wholly unjustified and brutal invasion of Iraq," I mean Ukraine. Oh, man, my goodness.
Is an absence of checks and balances in Russia and the decision of one man to launch a wholly unjustified and brutal invasion of of Ukraine. Iraq, too. Anyway.
Iraq too. Oh man, admitting to war crimes, George. Okay, good. That's great. Let's get to the sentencing. The real criminals. The only guy who kept us out of war was Donald Trump. These guys are keeping us in war because war is good for them, their donors, and the other scum who hang around them. I'm tired of these guys. Can we hit the reset button? Can we blow on the cartridge? Can we start all over again? We need a new crop of political leaders. These people are broken and diseased, and they're communists. And you got to like, share, and subscribe to help me fight commies every single day here on this channel. See ya.